Hi everybody, it's Patty Ann here, and today I'm going to show you, welcome to my basement studio first of all, and I'm here to show you my favorite ruler, and actually the ruler of the month here at Beginnings Quilt Shop this month. The ruler that I've chosen to be the ruler of the month is one of my absolute favorites. It's called the Log Cabin Trim Tool. The Log Cabin Trim Tool. Okay, and actually when you get the Log Cabin Trim Tool, it does come with complete instructions. Okay, when you open up the pamphlet, it comes packaged like this. And you wouldn't know that the complete instructions are in here, but they are. Now, at Beginnings, we carry the new 4-inch ruler, the 6-inch ruler, and the 8-inch, and some of these are curvy rulers and some are just the straight rulers, and you'd have to come to the shop and I can show you what the curvy ones do, but today I'm going to show you the straight log cabin ruler. But anyway, we carry the 4, the 6, the 8, and a 12 that also includes a 6, so you kind of get a 2-for-1 deal on that one. But today I'm going to be demonstrating the 8-inch log cabin ruler because I'm actually using it at home right now. I'm making my son, who's an avid fisherman, a quilt. And what I'm doing is using this new line that we have called fish line, and I'm fussy cutting the center section to be some fish. And if you'll notice, all these other areas have fish as well. So if you have a fisherman in your family, you might want to stop by the shop and get this. One of my I have 2 favorites actually. I love this little bobbers. Isn't that cute? And I love, well, actually I have 3 favorites. Actually I have 4. Well, I love these. These are more bobbers. And then there's one that has fishing lures on it. And the last that I'm going to show you, well, actually, this one, again, because I love it so. And it's also in the white with blue lettering. But see how cool that is with naming different fish? And I'm fussy cutting around these to be my center squares. So, when you get your ruler, it's going to tell you exactly what you need to know in order to make the log cabin squares. So let me show you. So if you look down here at this ruler, let's see if I can get this all figured out where I need to be. With my machine. Okay, so this ruler right here, as I said, it's the 8-inch log cabin ruler, and it tells me right here on this ruler, if I've forgotten the directions, that I need to cut strips at least 1 1/4 inches wide. Now, it doesn't matter how wide they are. If they're much wider than that, that's fine. They just have to be at least 1 3/4 inches wide, and one side of them has to be straight. Doesn't matter what the other side looks like. So again, 1 3/4 inches wide at least, and one side straight. The other information it gives you here is what to cut the center square. And it says here that for this particular ruler, this size, the center square has to be 2 1/2 inches. So I'm going to use a jelly roll for that, just for the center, and some of my other things I'm going to put on the quilt. And what's perfect is because a jelly roll, the squares or the strips are 2 1/2 inches wide, it's easy for me to use this to fussy cut what I want to have in my center square. So let's say I would like to have this black crappie or crappie, depending on what part of the country you're from, as my center square. I know that from here to here is 2 1/2 inches, and I'm going to use my handy little ruler that's somewhere on my messy desk. Here we go. This ruler is great. We sell these up at the top of, or right on the desk at Beginnings. They exactly measure 2 1/2 inches, so it's perfect. So I can just take this 2 1/2 inch ruler, put it on my crappie or crappie. Where I come from, we called them crappies. Center him in there, okay? And then make my cuts. So then I'm already ready to start my log cabin production. Okay, so there's my center square. the next thing I need to do is I'm going to choose which fabrics I'm going to use around the sides. Now, if you'll notice on this one, I've used the blues and the grays on one side, or the blues basically, and I'm sorry, and the reds and the grays on the opposite side. So I'm going to continue with that theme. So I'm going to start with a blue. I think I'll just start with one of these guys. Let me press it just a little bit, and I love this little iron that I'm using right here. It stays hot, it's nice and hot, and I also sometimes like to give my stuff a shot, let me see, with Mary Ellen's, with Best Press. Okay. But that just makes it really nice. So then I'm going to cut this strip a little bigger than 2.5 inches because it's going to go on the side. So there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to take, well, let me cut off that selvage. See how nice and handy this ruler is because it's so small, it's easy to work with. Anyway, I'm going to take the first piece and I'm going to put it with the second, matching up the places. Now I'm using an old Singer sewing machine over here because my other one, my embroidery machine, is busy over there, as is my regular sewing machine because I'm working with rulers and the ruler foot. Wait till you see that. Ooh, you're going to love it. But anyway, so I'm using this old Singer machine that I have, and some of you may recognize it as something that you learned on a long, long time ago. This is similar to the one that my mom had. It has cams in it. I'm just going to use a straight stitch, and I'm going to do a straight 1/4 inch seam right down here. Now this machine doesn't come with any bells and whistles, so I have no way to cut the thread other than to do it manually. Once that's done, I can take my little ruler and trim off any excess that I have, but in this case I don't really have any. Then I can finger press this back. And actually, since I have my handy dandy little iron here, I am going to give it a press to make it nice and sharp. A nice, really nice one. This little iron, by the way, has a really, really, really long cord and stays on. Gets really hot. And you can actually do steam in it if you'd like. I love that little iron. But anyway, here are my two pieces together. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Let's see, I'm going around. I'm going to go clockwise. So now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to add another blue one. So I guess I'll try this one. So again, this strip has to be at least, what did the directions say? 1 3/4 inches wide, and it doesn't matter what it looks like on one side as long as it's straight on the other. Okay, so I'm going to do this, kind of measure it up. Doesn't have to be exact because I'm going to be trimming it like that. Then I'm going to match these two up like that. Take them over to my sewing machine and sew 1/4 inch. And again, I can finger press it. And then take it over to my handy little iron right over here. And give it a nice press. Okay, so I have 2 rounds done. Oh, not 2, I have 2 pieces done. I'm still working on my first round. So I did this one, and then this one, and now I'm going to do this one. But before I do, I think I would like to trim off. Sometimes I just do it like this. Leave it folded out and trim this even. Just makes it a little easier for me on that side. Okay. So now I'm going to do my reds. So I've done a blue, and now I'm going to put a red right here. Just choose any red. Let's see if this one's long enough. It certainly is. I think I'll give it a little press first. Perfectly pressed now. That little iron just is a little champion. Come over here, stitch my 1/4 of an inch. Okay, finger press. Press with the iron. And just trim this little edge off. Again, I can trim it like this, or I could fold this piece back the way it was, and then I can see where to trim it here. Like that. Okay, so again, this was my center square. Okay, the first thing I did was this piece, and then I did this one, and now the red. And so I have one more red to do before I get to show you the magic of the ruler. Okay, so that's been pressed, and now I'm just going to make it a little longer than what I need. Okay, and match this up and do my 1/4 inch seam, and then I can show you the magic and why I love this ruler so much. Okay. So here's our first one. If we look back at the ruler, it shows this, and it says for round one, it says it right there, put this square right on your central 2.5 inch square. Matched up exactly for round one. When we put the second round of 4 strips on, we will go to this block and center that on the focus square. But let's start with round one because that's where we are. For round one, I line up this square with my focal square perfectly, lines up just perfectly. Then you just trim off this. Now notice I have a lot of waste here only because I'm using the jelly roll. You don't remember your strips just need to be 1 3/4 inches wide. Okay, and mine were 2.5. But then I just flip this the other way, line that same square, the round one square, up against my focal square, and trim and trim. And you are going to see a beautiful square beginning of a log cabin block. Isn't that nice? It's just perfect. Just perfect. I would do the same thing again the next time. I begin by putting my 2 blue strips on, and then my 2 red or gray, and then I would go to round 2, this one right here. I would line that up, and there'd be a lot of hanging out over here because I had already sewn on another round. I would trim and trim, turn my block, line up round 2 with my focal point, trim and trim, and I would do that 3 times, and I would end up with a gorgeous block, perfect block, that would look like this. It's just perfect. I love it. So anyway, again, to recap, I'm using the 8-inch log cabin trim tool. I'm also using this product that we have at Beginnings, if you should be interested. It's a really handy ruler for many things. It measures 6.5 by 2.5. And I'm also using this little iron that we have available at Beginnings. Again, it has a very long cord. It does not have an automatic stop. There's a really great way to hold on to it. And it does do steam or not. And here's a control for your temperature. That's it. Okay, thanks. Hope to see y'all at Beginnings. Bye-bye.